always love that wonderfully awkward beginning part of the stream. Let's see what we have. Okay, we're live. Okay, we've got sound and we're live and everything is working beautifully. So hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to my stream of Asagao Academy Normal Boots Club, where we're going to continue romancing us some Satch. I'm still emotionally compromised from the last stream, so that should be fantastic. My bot in the chat will show you all the ways you can follow me on social media. Or you can follow me on Twitter at the Ginachu, and also here on Twitch and on YouTube to find out when I am going to be streaming next. So last we left off, for those of you who may not have remembered, or maybe you didn't catch the first part, we had a really adorably wonderful sweet date with Satch going to the flower festival, but unfortunately someone has stolen the golden boots from the Normal Boots Club, and because Shane caught Mai and Hana looking at them, the Normal Boots guys now think that Hana and Mai stole the boots. Which, you know, Hana is very annoyed that they would just immediately accuse her like that. But what makes the situation kind of more complicated is Mai admitted to Hana that she is a kleptomaniac. But she swears she didn't steal the golden boots. I'm inclined to believe her, but we'll have to see how it turns out. Hopefully we'll get some more clues. I'm still pretty sure it's Catagris, because him and Waleed were being sneaky snakes. Alright, so let's pick up from the, from this journal entry. The current event is called Whispers. Yeah, that we kind of stormed off and Mai yelled at the guys right in the cafeteria, so there's sure to be plenty of rumors flying around. Alright, here we go. Dear Diary, Mai's a kleptomaniac? I can't believe it. Part of me doesn't want to believe it. I've lived with her for weeks and I had no idea. How is this possible? And as much as I didn't want it to, it kind of shifted how I view her. Should I let it? Well, was that wrong of me? Well, it doesn't mean she's necessarily a bad person, but you know, people are complex. They've got good and bad things about them. Alrighty, here we go. Let's see what's gonna happen here. One by one, students filtered into the classroom. I kept my eyes on my desk, running across the grooves in the worn wood. What would it feel like to run my hands across it? I wanted to find out, but was too afraid to move. Hana. I flinched at the sound of my name on another student's lips. Of course it's Mimi, who's... You better not be getting out of your lane. The heat of several pairs of eyes lay thick on my face like a ray of sunlight. I didn't want to look at them. I couldn't look at them. The grooves in my desk really were very interesting, looping and swirling around. If it were Kenyan, I'd fly a plane through it. They probably weren't looking at me. In all likelihood, I was imagining all of this. Yeah, how stupid of me, as if I were the center of the world. Silly Hana. She stole? But she looked so docile. Oh, shit. Oh, the tears! No, Hana! This was way too familiar. Oh, this poor girl. Suddenly I felt lightheaded, as if my mind was no longer tethered to my body. Instead, I was floating up along the ceiling of the room, the place people feel when they roll their eyes in the back of their heads. A familiar scene played out before me. You're so selfish. You think you're better than us? No. Look at this girl. Who does she think she is? Say something! Whoa! Okay, now we're in physical violence territory. Ow! I was cowering on the floor beside my desk. It was after school. I'd come into the classroom to get a textbook I'd forgotten and run into three girls. Three girls who used to be my friends. You copied off my test, didn't you? No, I didn't. Why would I? How did you get to be the top of the class then? And how did you manage to catch Nami's boyfriend, huh? You've been sleeping around, haven't you? No, I haven't. You guys know I wouldn't do that. Huh, liar. No wonder, too. Her mother wasn't around to teach her proper manners. Wow! Wow! What a bitch! Ha! I bet her mom taught her how to sleep around. Haven't you seen her father? Ah! I was standing. The book I threw lay on the opposite side of the classroom, not me having ducked to avoid it. Good for you, Hana. For an instant, they looked up at me in fear. Then Melissa started laughing. Oh, wow, you're right. A bastard child from a bastard family. She'll never amount to much. But I feel so threatened now. I think I'll tell the principal what happened. No, wait, I'm sorry. Please don't. You don't mind cleaning up for us then? Wow, what bitches. We couldn't clean the classroom because another student attacked us. And we're all such good friends. Why would we lie about this? I moved to the utility closet at the back of the room and grabbed a broom. That a girl. Guess she learned something from her mother after all. What bitches? Hana, are you okay? You're shaking. I opened my mouth to respond only for my teeth to start chattering.
Class?
Okay, class. Today we're going to... I raised my hand. Hana? What is it? Bathroom. Emergency. Please. Alright, but be quick about it. I headed for the door, feeling as though I was moving through ether. The 3 familiar green jackets didn't move a muscle as I shut it behind me. The hallway passed before me in a blur. All I could hear was the sound of my own breathing and the blood pounding in my head. I reached the restroom. A quick glance told me it was empty, all stall doors open. I picked one and rushed in, slamming the door and closing the lid of the toilet. Then I sat, pulling my knees up to my chest. Oh my god. I'm gonna die. This poor girl. I hate this. Deep breaths, Hana. Deep breaths. Calm down. You're in a bathroom. You're at Asagao. Look, your uniform's different, the door's locked, and no one's going to crawl under it like last time. Jesus Christ! What has this poor girl been through? You're safe. Calm down. Deep breaths. As I breathed, my eyes wandered across the sterile gray tile and thick metal walls separating the stalls. It really did look different from my old school. There wasn't even graffiti on the backs of the doors. How in the world would Terry let people know she and Bobby would be together forever now? I giggled. Pull yourself together, Hana. This isn't the end of the world. Sure, things are bad, but...
You're my best friend, Hana.
Oh, the feels. Oh my god, can you two please just kiss immediately? Can that happen, please? Your score, that's incredible. No, the Hana I know would never hurt another person. I've already changed. But I'm still so... Ugh, what am I even doing here? Crying in a bathroom stall because people were whispering about me? Get a hold of yourself, Hana. Grow up! Do you want this to be it for the rest of your life? Every time someone is even the slightest bit mean to you, you run and hide, start crying and looking for someone to take the fall in your stead? What are you doing with yourself? This won't be my future. I unlocked and pushed the door open to the bathroom stall. My face, tear-stained in pink, stared back at me from the mirror. I'm going to change. From now on, I'm taking matters into my own hands. I will find the boots. I'll clear my name. Yeah, Hana, there you go. Be proactive. Mize, too. And I'll find the missing books for Satch. He's been so kind to me, and I've been letting him take everything upon himself. But who does he have when things go bad? I want to be someone people can lean on. I want to be someone who can actually help other people. I rinsed my face in the sink and dabbed it with a rough paper towel. It's time that things change. Good job, Hana. I walked back into the classroom, shoulders square and eyes straight ahead. Suzuka paused her lecture, waiting for me to take my seat. This time, I could see the other students' heads turning, following my movement across the classroom. I ignored them. When I sat, Shizuka began teaching again, a slight smile on her face. When her back was turned, Mai tapped my shoulder. Are you okay? I turned to face her. Better than ever. She smiled, but watched me for a few seconds. I tried to put as much of my resolve into my eyes as I could. I could do this. Finally, she nodded and I turned to my classwork. First, I had to get through class. After that, the library. Be strong, Hana. I entered the library, the slightly damp smell of old books and the little sunlight tugging at my clothes. By clumps of students with their heads hung over their homework, I went straight to the desk. Satch stood behind us, searching frantically for something in the piles of papers stacked along the back wall. He kept shaking his head and pausing, almost as if he were muttering to himself, running his hands over his hair. It was odd. He looked really stressed. That wasn't normal for him. I almost didn't want to interrupt, but I came here for a reason. Excuse me? He jumped slightly.
Hana.
Oh, Hana. How could I help you? When he smiled, it almost seemed as if nothing was wrong, even though that clearly wasn't the case. But the strangest thing was that the smile didn't seem disingenuous. He was truly smiling, happy or content about something. He's happy to see you, Hana. Satch would never ask for help, even if he needed it. Are you alright? You don't seem very well. Satch glanced around him before replying in a low whisper. More books have gone missing. Someone's trying to sabotage my boy, and I'm not letting it happen. Oh. Mine's not due for another few weeks, so at least I'm not the one hurting you this time. My joke fell flat as a dead raccoon. Satch's face caved in and he stared at the counter in front of him. It's not looking good for me.
What?
What? What do you mean? He opened his mouth but didn't speak. After a pause, he began to chew his lip. Then something strange happened. He seemed to almost gather himself up. He took a deep breath, set his shoulders back, and smiled. Don't worry about it. It made my heart break. I wanted to crawl around the counter and give him a hug. I wanted to feel the weight of his head against my shoulder, something to help him unload the burdens he carried. But as I looked to his smile, I realized he didn't want me to. More than that, he didn't want me to. Maybe if I were Gerard or Paul, but not Hana. Not right now, at least. Maybe during the flower festival we were close enough to share some of our burdens, but now? Satch was struggling, and he didn't trust me enough to let me see it. My heart dropped, and my neck grew hot. How exactly am I not supposed to worry about it? He waved a hand as if swatting away a fly. I'll be fine. No. Well, I have no doubt that you'll be fine on your own, but it was now or never. Maybe he didn't want my help, but he still needed it. I paused for a second, trying to find the best way to word my intentions. You're already trying to help me, and you have so much on your plate. The least I can do is help you find the missing books. 2 heads are better than... No, really, that won't be necessary. Why not? Other people are here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. I'm your friend. I want to help you, Satch. Satch looked at me skeptically. He really didn't trust me, did he? I'm not going to give up on this. Really, Hana, that's very kind of you, but... He looked around him in desperation. I don't think that would be helpful. Please, just let me handle this. I've got everything under control, I swear. But... Satch glanced over his shoulder. I mean it.
Alright, be good.
He's so cute. I've got to get back to work. I'll see you later. Satch stepped out from behind the counter and went into a back room. The librarian waited there, a stern look on her face. I turned and started back through a thick aisle of books. Now what? If someone really didn't want your help, wasn't it kind of bad to force yourself on them? Oh God, we're gonna have another freaking choice to make. But the question was, did he really not want my help? I was sure it wasn't because he didn't want or need it. It was because, for all he said, he believed I didn't take the boots. He didn't trust me. Not at all. Well, I mean, regardless of whether he trusts you or not, he's obviously going to want to get to the bottom of it. I mean, you want to get him back, you know, regardless of whether you did it or not. He wants to find who did it. As if telling me not to help is going to do anything. He's got another thing coming if that's what he thinks. Sometimes people just don't know what's best for them. Of course, I was assuming I knew better than he did about what he wanted, but I had to do something. I wasn't just going to sit around and wait while he was in trouble. It's not looking good for me. Whatever that meant, I wanted to make sure it didn't start looking any worse. And there! Okay, let's see if we got a new thing. Missing book flyers. Dear Diary. Okay, so what if Satch doesn't want me messing around with those things? He can't stop me, and I bet he doesn't even know what's best for him. No, I'm taking this into my own hands. I won't be able to live with myself otherwise. Oh, I can't wait for this beautiful disaster to happen. I snipped the blades of my scissors shut and a small book-shaped cutout fell into my lap. I set it into its pile and rolled out my shoulders. Finally, 4 thick piles of multicolored construction paper sat neatly before me. My hands ached from cutting so much at once. I set the scissors aside and grabbed the permanent marker that sat on my desk along with the cloud-shaped decorations I made earlier. Hey Hana, I'm back! My face flushed and cheery as usual, bounded into the room. How was practice? I went to practice for the Asagao strikers almost every evening. Their first big game was coming up, but it was in another school, so I wouldn't be able to go see her play. It bothered me a lot, but I was slightly relieved to not have to witness the pyre of burning rage that was my playing volleyball. It was fine, but I totally struck Mimi in the... Oh, what is all this? I dropped her duffel bag in her chair, surveying the mess of paper spread out along the floor with myself at the center. I didn't know we had to do arts and crafts here. I'm making flyers. Actually, would you mind helping me? It'll take me another few hours by myself. Of course! What are they for? She plopped herself on the floor and took up one of the stick figures I made. Some books have gone missing at the library, so I figured we could put up flyers reminding people to turn theirs in on time. Oh, missing books? I tossed a few sheets of paper at her feet, then uncapped the glue stick and started attaching the images. Yeah, they've been missing since a few weeks ago, but now it's getting worse. But one of the books was just one I forgot to turn in, so I figured maybe that happened with all the books. Mai spiraled the stick figure in her hand so it looked like he was doing cartwheels. They can look up who has late books in the system, you know. Yeah. But maybe it'll help anyways. She grabbed a paper book and smeared glue all over the back. People do forget, so maybe half can be reminders and half can be lost and found notes. Yeah, okay. Together we worked through a pile of papers each. We compared handwriting and competed to see who could make the nicest flyer. I won, of course. It reminded me of kindergarten, and it was oddly comforting. We ran out of images of books, and I was just handing my permanent marker to start drawing them when she slapped her leg with the back of her hand. Oh, shoot! I totally forgot I left something in the gym. I should go get it. Okay, hurry back. Yeah, no problem. Odd. It wasn't like Mai to forget something. Usually she only forgot something when she wanted to copy my homework. Oh my, why do you have to be so suspicious? I'm trying to trust you. Katrina, 3002, hello! Welcome to the stream. So nice to see you, my dear. Thanks for joining me. As I started on the third pile, I began to feel distinctly sad. Why? My hand stilled on the paper and a memory stirring in my mind. Back in Amimirisu, my parents ran a shop together. My dad created beautiful works of art, pottery, and ceramics, and my mom filled them with the flowers she grew. He tried to teach me how to make pots, but I could never do it. I got too nervous seeing how easily one mistake could completely alter what you were making. I'm wonderful, Katrina. I hope you're doing wonderful as well. Instead, one day he came to my room with a pile of papers. He folded them, and in seconds a blue morning glory appeared in front of my eyes. How did you do that? Smiling, he handed me purple paper and taught me how to fold a morning glory, step by step. When I finished, we sat them side by side. Mine was crumpled and stunted next to his crisp, beautiful creation. But he laughed. Separate, neither would be considered beautiful. Oh, Hana's having sad feels about her dad! I blinked. In front of me sat a blue morning glory, the cover of a book sticking out of one petal. Slowly, I made my way through that pile of flyers and then the next. The shadows grew longer and longer until they faded altogether. When I finally finished, it was after 9 and Mai still hadn't returned. I'm done! I lay back on the floor, exhausted, and glanced at the clock. It shouldn't have taken her this long just to get to the gym. Did she run into someone? I couldn't wait up for her. I had to get up early. I really hope she wasn't the one that took these boots. Oh my god, this is killing me. I cleaned up, changed into my pajamas, and crawled into my soft, cool sheets. Without my snoring, the room seemed intensely still, like the silence was trying to press itself into my skull. I hope she's okay. The room blurred and I drifted off to sleep. Oh, you like these sorts of games? Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I hope you do continue to enjoy it. This is the fourth of, I guess, 9 romance routes for this game. So I still have plenty more to go. So I hope that you'll stick around and join me some other times too. But yeah, I'm loving streaming this. So this is all good stuff. Oh, what happened? Oh, current event, my returns. Oh, shit. What? What was happening? I couldn't see. My eyes wouldn't stay open. So late. She closed the door and tiptoed over to her desk. She was being so damn loud. I turned over, vaguely angry. Too tired. Wanna sleep. A rustling of paper echoed from her side of the room. Quiet. A drawer shut. Mai climbed up to her bed and the mattress over my head sagged. I glanced at the clock. It was past midnight. She only just got back? How long have I been streaming? This particular stream or in general? This particular stream we've only been doing for like 20 minutes. In general, probably for like 3 or 4 weeks now. I'm still very new. Something seemed wrong. School wasn't in session right now. What? I couldn't think straight. My head hit the pillow and I turned over, drifting off to sleep again. Oh, she's too tired to pay attention to what's going on! Yeah, in general, probably about 3-4 weeks now. Yeah, I'm a very new streamer. I hope I'm doing okay. Current event flyers. Okay. Mai's been spacing out and sneaking all around at night. I wonder whether it's because of this whole kleptomania deal. Maybe it's the fact that people are suspecting her is getting to her. I don't even want to think about the possibility that she took them. Oh my goodness. I really don't want to think about the possibility that she took them. Bright and early next morning, I scurried through the hall searching for Satch. I had to catch him before he went into class. There was no way I could show my face in a senior's classroom with everyone still hating me. I turned a corner and was confronted with a flash of bright yellow. You, Caddy, you sneaky snake! I'm still blaming all this on you! And I hope that you're feeling guilty. If you are the one that did this, I hope you are feeling guilty and you realize this is tearing normal boots apart. You're full of shenanigans. Oh, thank you, Katrina. That's really sweet of you to say. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, Caddy. Alright. Hey, Hana, what are you up to? Caddy stood in front of me, his head tilted to one side. I didn't know him too well. In fact, this was possibly the first time we ever spoke on our own. Yeah, I think the only other time at this point that she ran into them was, when Gerard was showing her around the school. We ran into Caddy and Jimmy in the boys' dorm. Hey, Caddy, have you seen Satch? I think he was up a floor. Something wrong? Nope, I made these flyers and I wanted to give them to him. I nodded at the pile of papers I was holding. They were nearly as tall as my torso. Caddy blinked as if seeing them for the first time. Cool! He smiled weakly. I paused. Is something wrong? He shoved his hands into his jacket pockets and glanced around the hall. You are guilty as fuck! And I wouldn't say anything's wrong per se. He trailed off but didn't volunteer any information. Is it about the tournament? In a way, you could say that. He cast his eyes at the floor. You stole the boots! And Caddy, don't... Oh! Things suddenly don't look too good for us. And that's too bad. He looked truly sad, but try as I might, I couldn't hide my glee. He looked at me in surprise, then a sharp gleam entered his eyes. Don't go thinking it's in the bag yet, Miss Mizuno. We'll give you a right run for your money. If you say so. Giggling madly, I scurried past him and up a staircase. My fingers were starting to cramp. It wasn't that the flyers were particularly heavy, though they were by no means light, but they were horribly awkward to carry, especially up staircases. I pushed the staircase door open with my back and entered the 3rd floor. From across the empty hallway, I saw a familiar figure standing in front of an open locker. Aha!
Hey, girl.
I love the hey girl. It kills me every time. Satch, you adorable thing, you. Hana? I dashed to Satch and dropped the pile of flyers in front of him, heaving. Perhaps running up those stairs wasn't such a bright idea.
What's going on?
What brings you here so early? Look! I took a flyer and shoved it into his face. He stepped back and peered at the writing. Be a good date, don't turn your books in late. Oh, Hana! What is this? I made flyers to help your search for the missing books. I didn't want you to keep working on this alone, so...
Hana.
Oh, Hana. He cringed, scratching the back of his neck. That's great, but I don't know that the librarian would be happy with these. She'll think they highlight what a terrible job she's doing. Oh. I stared at the stack of flyers on the floor, stretching my hands to ease their stiffness. Still, he leaned down and flipped through the sheets. Did you make all of these yourself? Yeah, last night. Mai helped me too. Your handwriting is really nice. Thank you. My hand got tired at the end though, so I'm not sure the ones at the bottom are any good. He straightened and stretched, then stood for a while looking out the window. You know, I bet I could find something to do with them after all.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, if we use them right, they may even reduce the library workload. Happiness bloomed in my chest. That's wonderful! Yeah. Yeah, it is! Thank you so much, Hana. Really, it means a lot. I had to do something to help you. He smiled and reached a hand towards me as if to ruffle my hair, but stopped mid-gesture and instead turned back to his locker. Well, I need to get to class early today, so I'll be seeing you.
See you later.
Satch wants so bad to just have his Hana, and he's... But nobody... Oh, God, it's so sad. My heart is breaking. Right. Well, have a good day.
Pathetic.
Copacetic. Yes, he said it too! I will. You too, Hana. Make it copacetic. He took the stack of flyers and put them in his locker. Then he left for a classroom further down the hall. As I watched the door close, I realized he hadn't been distant at all this time. With a heart lighter than it was in days, I skipped down the stairs and headed to my own class. Time to make up the homework I didn't do last night. It was only a few minutes before my exhaustion began to hit me. I did not handle lack of sleep well either. I quickly grew grumpy and irritable, and Mai, recognizing this from an all-nighter I pulled to write an essay a few weeks ago, gave me my space. Oh, good. Okay, here we go. Current event sympathy. Oh, this is about Oscar, the little pet fish who apparently Satch is the daddy. Dear Diary, Oscar is doing well. Sometimes when I go to sleep, I watch him. We make faces to each other. I swear he can understand me, but he misses his daddy. I wish Satch would come around more often. If we just knew who had the boots. Seriously. I want proof! We need proof that Hana didn't do this. It's killing me. Aside from that, class went just as expected. The normal Boots boys avoided my eyes the entire period except for the occasional vomit-inducing glance from Shane. He seemed to be taking the situation much more seriously than the rest of them, and I had no idea why. Yeah, we'll save that for his romance route. I never did anything to him, but for some reason he was never fond of me, or my hair. I was a little closer to John and PBG though. I expected at least polite contact with them, but it seemed difficult for them to even look at me. PBG especially seemed to be taking it hard. He was a kind soul, and I didn't think he'd be able to continue isolating Mai and me if he didn't have the others to support him. As it was, anytime I accidentally crossed paths with him, he seemed to be fighting an internal battle. Flickers of emotion would pass across his face. Regret, sadness, disbelief. So of course he ended up turning around and heading back from whence he came. That's because he's in love with you, Hana. It's very hard. He'd been late to class several times. Shouldn't they know me better than this? Shouldn't they know I wouldn't do something like that to them? But what did we really have in common? A shared school, a tournament, the possibility of a shared hobby? Friendship meant different things to different people. To me, they were still my friends, but I guess to them... I was jolted back into reality as the bell rang. The chaotic shuffle and chatter of students filled the room as to rush to leave for lunch. PBG, John, and Shane left the room faster than I thought humanly possible. Any hopes I had of walking to lunch together vanished with them. Katrina! Thank you so much for the follow! I'm so So glad you stopped by tonight. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Guess they didn't want to be in my presence any more than they had to be. Sighing, I zipped my bag shut. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder. Oh, here we go. Here we go. These two are already members of, well, he's a member of the Sneaky Snakes Club. Luke is a member of the Absolute Creeper Club after what he did in PBG's route. But that's okay. I love Luke anyway. It's all good. Luke and Ian stood behind me, gazing at me in sympathy. At least Luke seemed sympathetic. Ian was being Ian. It was hard to tell what he was feeling with a face as impassive and disdainful as his. You know, Ian's not really that stone-faced in real life. I actually think he's rather expressive, and he has a very nice smile. So, but they make him such a little grump here.
Hey.
What's with the long face? Do you really have to ask? Nah, guess not. I shouldered my bag in the silence that followed. I wasn't sure whether there was a point to this conversation. I just wanted to leave. You know, you don't need to worry. I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. Don't I? The Normal Boots Club are great people. Great people who drop me at the first sign of trouble. Look, I believe you're innocent, and because of that, I know they'll recognize it too. Just give them time. I mean, they can't all be as smart as me. He grinned like a proud school kid. How do you know I'm innocent? Luke laughed. He turned to Ian, who grimaced. It's time to go. All of you! You weren't part of the Shenanigans Club until just now! Welcome to the Shenanigans Club, Luke. I'm gonna have to start, this is gonna become a thing, I'm gonna have to start making like a list of the members of the Shenanigans Club. I'm gonna have to put it like on the bottom of my Twitch channel or something. Oh, yeah. All of you. Yes, sir. Luke followed Ian out of the room, whistling. I don't know who's the weirder out of those two. I guess it doesn't matter, does it? They're both pretty hot. That is incredibly true. They are both gorgeous. Is that all you think about?
Bingo.
Hey, I gotta have something to keep my spirits up in these dark times. And dark times call for drastic measures. I shook my head. Well, let's get going. Maybe they'll have lobster for lunch again.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. We just came out of Poppy Hall when Mai stopped dead in her tracks. Oh, shoot. What's wrong? I forgot my lunch money. Would you mind waiting here? I'm gonna run back and get it. That's okay. I have more than enough for the both of us. Really? Is it okay if I mooch off you? Sure. Mai jumped to my side, giving me a great big hug. Hana, you're the greatest. I promise I'll pay you back. You better. It wasn't like I could afford to be giving people handouts, especially not for Asagao's crazy expensive food. Yeah, that's true. Come on, let's go. I'll tell you a secret in return. What's that? Once, I saw Jeff shoving hamsters with helmets onto them into tiny little cannons. You're saying that Jeff was making actual space hamsters? Is that where you're going with this, Mai? Really? I'm just imagining him doing it now, and oh god. He was trying to shoot them off into space. Yeah, he was trying to make space hamsters. I mean, Creeps found him in time and stopped him. I think he might have kept the hamsters too. Yeah, Creepy McPasta would have definitely kept them. Thank goodness. Maybe. I think I'd rather death by cannon than go home with Creeps. You have a point there. And now you know why Jeff's called Space Hamster. Let's go to lunch while I still have my appetite. Deal. We waited in line for our food, conscious of several stares shooting in our direction. Ignore them. Look, we got strawberry shortcake today. Yeah, great. I hated being stared at. We gathered food onto our trays and began the slow walk to the back of the cafeteria where our table was now located. Why did the Normal Boots Club sit in the middle of the cafeteria? We had to walk past them and everyone was watching. I tried to concentrate on the smell of strawberries and ham wafting from my tray, but only found myself thinking of Jared's cologne. Jared smells of ham. Ugh, get a grip! As we trudged past them, mine nudged me and smiled in their direction. No one was looking. They were all suddenly engrossed in their chopsticks and spoons. Everyone except Satch. Just before we made it to our table, something caught my attention. Jeff was smiling and waving at us. After a pause, the rest of the Hidden Block Club joined in. Oh! Maya and I smiled and waved in return and sat down at our table with lifted spirits. Neither of us looked at the other, but we were thinking the same thing. The Normal Boots Club wasn't the center of the universe, and really, why did we expect anything different from them? I feel like this is all a part of a plan by the Hidden Block guys to mess with Normal Boots because they're worried about the tournament, and see, that's not cool with me. That's not cool with me because they're messing with real life relationships, like outside of the game tournament. It's not cool. All the Hidden Block guys are every single one of them is now part of the Shenanigans Club. Okay, that's it. All 6 of them, Shenanigans Club. So I've been thinking. That's a bad sign. Rude. What do you think who would take the boots and why? The Normal Boots Club is almost universally beloved. Why is that anyways? They're a group of crazy hot men surrounded by pubescent girls. You do the math. Right. Got it.
Well,
Maybe they have a crazy fan that took it then? She wanted to get their attention?
I don't know.
Seems an odd way to do it. They'd hate you afterwards. They say the opposite of love is indifference, not hatred. No, there has to be something in it for them. You don't think the Hidden Block Club? I do think the Hidden Block Club! We glanced over at their table. Caddy! We waved at him. Caddy beamed and waved back. Ian is like, Caddy, you asshole. Ian rolled his eyes. Because we know the two of them so get along in real life. No, we know they actually do. Just their characters don't. I thought it was them at first, but now I don't think so. They're a lot nicer than I thought they were.
Yeah.
I agree. There's no way they'd do it. Plus, the Normal Boots guys are their friends. And the boots were locked up. Someone had to get access when no one was looking. A school official? You think? Yeah, I mean, the librarian hates everyone in our school, and Satch in particular. And plus, there's that creepy nurse. Oh, I forgot about him, yeah. Maybe creepy McPasta did it. Why does he wear that mask? I heard he killed his cat. Now he thinks his soul is inside of it. He wouldn't have killed a cat, would he? Rumor has it if you take the mask away from him, half of his face is burned.
What?
From what? Ex-wife tried to kill him. He glanced in our direction. We snapped our attention back to our food. Okay, let's just pretend it's not him. There's no way I can face that guy. Who has a motive for hurting the Normal Boots Club?
Uh-huh.
We do. Well, now we do. Not then. What about... A clatter rang out and a hush fell across the cafeteria. Muffled, angry voices came from the middle of the room. Uh-oh! That's because Satch realizes how good we're trying to be. Oh, God! Oh! Somebody's trying to hit him, the fucking Normal Boots Club apart, and it's working, and I will not stand for it. I want answers. Shane and Satch seem to be having some sort of disagreement. I've never seen Satch angry like that. Shane was waving his arms wildly and pointing towards us? Satch shook his head vehemently. PBG grabbed Shane's shoulder, but Shane shook it off. Finally, he seemed to settle down. Staring at the floor, he said something. The rest of the group stared at him in shock. After a brief pause, Satch gathered up his things and took leave of the table. He's not leaving the club?
What?
No way! That can't be right! Satch strode across the cafeteria, stopping just over our table. Heat radiated off of him. He was still upset, though his expression didn't suggest it. Mind if I sit here? Of course, go ahead. He placed his tray next to mine, sat down, and proceeded to eat his fish burger. Everything about him looked a picture of calm. It was only because he was sitting next to me that I saw he was slightly trembling. After a while, conversation started up again. The normal boots guys looked mournfully at Satch, but no one made the move to follow him. Satch ignored them. So,
Hana.
I think you're innocent. Thank you. I couldn't let this keep going. Friends don't do this. People shouldn't do this. I can understand why, but they were letting fear cloud their compassion. I just couldn't do it. Good guy, Satch! I'm loving this storyline so much because I love Satch! A small warmth bloomed within me and tears pricked the back of my eyes. Do you think I'm innocent too? Satch turned to Mai, who looked at him uncertainly. Well, I trust Hana's faith in you. Oh, well, good. I think. Let's talk about something happier. How about? The rest of the lunch passed comparatively uneventfully. The hidden block guys each gave Satch a pat on the back on their way out, with the exception of Caddy, who shook his hand. The normal boots men continued to ignore Mai and me. Before we knew it, class ended and the day was over. Do we have a new... Dear Diary, Satch, I knew I could count on him. They're so cute. Okay, I'm sorry. Current event VR. Uh-oh. That night, I lay on my bed watching an anime about loony high school girls, and there was a knock on the door. Do you know who that is? No. Well, you'll get it. Rude. I pushed myself off my bed and opened the door.
Hana.
Hey, Hana.
Hey.
Satch, what are you doing here? He was beaming at me, hopping up and down like a kid in an amusement park. There's something I want to show you. Will you come with me? I've been working on this for a long time, at least a few years, but I think I finally made a breakthrough. I wanted to test it out, but things have been kind of tense lately, so I don't think I could ask Jared to do it.
Yeah.
Then I remembered I had you, and you said you wanted to help me out, so I finally figured out something you could do. He was talking a mile a minute, and I barely registered what he was saying before we found ourselves in his room. It was just as Spartan as I anticipated, being the love child of Jared and Satch. Yeah, Jared is out right now. That's why I came so late. Where is he? He had to go into the city for some reason. He did not look happy about it. Ugh. He went into his closet and pulled out a large blanketed lump. Here it is! He did not look happy about it. Ugh. He went into his closet and pulled out a large blanketed lump. Here it is! He removed the covering with a flourish. On the floor in front of me was some kind of machine. Wires connected a helmet with a visor to an oddly shaped, almost square box. Satch kneeled next to it and started fiddling with a few things. See, I could test it myself, but it's a little harder because I'm the one who made it. I know how it's supposed to work. I have expectations.
Really?
Expectations?
Yeah.
It's everything with this, so I don't know if it's actually working or if I'm manipulating it somehow. Plus, I can't evaluate the effects when I'm wearing it, so I'm not sure if my perception of time is whack or if, again, I'm messing up the... You shouldn't be hearing this or I'll mess up your run-through. Don't mind me. But what is this? A virtual reality machine. At least that's what I hope it is. But no more questions. They'll ruin your experience. Satch flipped a number of levers and the machine began to hum at a dangerously high pitch. Noticing my worried glance, Satch chuckled. Don't worry, this thing is completely safe. I fell asleep wearing it once. Even Jared didn't notice. Were they deaf or something? That thing was giving me a headache. Finally, he finished whatever he was doing and held the helmet out to me. You really want me to do this?
Well...
Please? Wouldn't you, Hana? He looked at me, eyes shining. It was the cutest thing I ever saw. I couldn't say no to those dimples. Oh, God! This... Oh, Satch! I'm clawing at my screen right now. You can't see me. He's so cute. Fine, hand it over. It's really cute. It's really cute because Hana looks so silly, but you can tell like how excited Satch is to like have her test it out. Like these cutie pies, these absolute cutie pies. The helmet was surprisingly heavy. I took my glasses off and set them down. I wondered whether my neck would be okay wearing it for so long, but when I slid it over my head, the cables fell across my back and eased the weight somewhat. I couldn't see anything inside the helmet, not even Satch's room. Sweat started to build on the felt lining.
Pathetic.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it on now, alright? If you say so. In his excitement, Satch couldn't seem to tell that I was at all apprehensive. I heard a snap, and then wires on my back started to vibrate. A burst of light blew through the helmet. I felt horribly dizzy, as if I was being rolled down a hill in a barrel. They did art for her! Oh, it's so cute! I don't feel so good. Hang on, it's almost... Satch's voice was fading away as if he was jogging down a long tunnel. Satch? The dizzying sensation stopped. Complete. His voice floated towards me, a delay between the syllables as if they were bouncing off a mountainside. In fact, I was by a mountainside. I shivered. Despite the lushness around me, it was cold here. Something tickled my legs and I looked down to see long shafts of grass grazing my ankles. You've got to be kidding me! This is a game? I heard a voice in the distance. Was it Satch? But it was drowned out by the wind. Suddenly the dizziness returned. I felt myself being sucked down into something and shut my eyes tight. When the sensation stopped, I opened them. I was in a completely white room. To my right there was a brown table. 2 cakes sat on top of it. A white one, which I somehow knew to be vanilla topped with whipped cream, and a chocolate one with oozing fudge on the inside. I was overwhelmed with the desire to take one, but which? Oh! Oh dear! Oh dear! I have no idea! I would assume it doesn't matter! Like, what would it matter? What would it matter? I don't know. Let's look at the description of them again. A white one which I knew to be vanilla, and a chocolate one with oozing fudge on the inside. I don't know. I don't know. If I had to choose between vanilla and chocolate, I'd probably choose vanilla. Let's see what the walkthrough says. The walkthrough says the vanilla. I don't think this probably matters though, but I'm gonna choose the vanilla. The cakes disappeared and in their place appeared a chrysanthemum in a cocoon. Both were dripping with dew, but the chrysanthemum had been plucked, and the cocoon hung on a small potted tree. Another choice? Huh! Interesting. Let's read the thing. A small potted tree, and the chrysanthemum had been... I don't know. Chrysanthemums are pretty. I would say the chrysanthemum. I really don't know. I really don't know what to choose. Oh, apparently I'm supposed to choose the cocoon. Okay. I'm really not sure if these matter, though. I'm just going by the walkthrough for the best end I have. Rather than try and grab the cocoon, I tried to grab the bowl of the plant it was hanging on. As soon as I touched it, however, it collapsed into a white ball and shot off across the room. I hid under the table as it pinged around, loud as a firecracker. Suddenly it stopped. The small pink box skittered under the table, a few inches from my toes. It opened, and a piece of paper slithered around and unrolled itself before me. Quest? Nervous but excited, I read it. Although you have a vast inner life, you can occasionally be quiet. You often have moments where you realize just how much you don't know about the world. You are a loyal and trustworthy person and try to protect those you care about. Still, you realize you and your loved ones are not the only ones on this planet. You want to leave the world better than you found it, and that is a noble ambition. The world could use more people like you. Stay open to new beliefs. They might be the answer you seek. Fortune? The room disappeared and I was left in darkness. A rushing filled my ears and then I felt a familiar softness around my arms and smelled cinnamon in the air. I was back at Asagao. I pulled off the helmet and gasped for air. I felt like I was gone for days. It worked! It worked perfectly! I watched him dance around the room as I caught my breath. What? Thank you so much for your help, Hana. Now, come on, it's late. I'll walk you back to your room. What just happened?
Well...
It was a test scenario. I just had you run through it real quick and it worked. I'm so happy. He's such a cutie pie. I still didn't understand what he was talking about, but suddenly we were in front of my room. I had no idea how we got there, let alone how fast. Was I really all right? You might feel a bit weird for a while, but it'll go away in a few minutes. I hope you're right. I reached for the doorknob. The coolness of the metal against my palm seemed to pull my senses together until they almost clicked in my mind. I felt much better.
Hey.
Oh, Hana. Satch had his hand in his pocket, looking at me casually. Too casually. Are you still practicing for the tournament? Oh. I thought I wasn't involved in it anymore in light of the circumstances. Satch nodded. Well, I think you should keep practicing.
Really?
Really? You think? They're being a little obstinate right now, but they'll come around. Trust me, they're great guys, and they're your friends. My friends? Really? I didn't say anything, but I couldn't hold back a bitter chuckle. I can't blame you for feeling that way, but... well, just keep practicing. If nothing else, you can count on me. Oh, very happy, blushy ellipses. Thanks, Satch. I'm glad. I believe I can. Thank you. Satch beamed at me and scratched the back of his neck.
Good.
Anyway, it's late enough. I'll see you later, Hana.
See you later.
Good night. No, kiss before you leave, damn it! Satch left down the hallway, and I turned the knob and headed inside my room. Hey, I'm back! Oh! Mai was standing next to the door, staring at me as if trying to read my face. Is something wrong? I heard what you were talking about. A small thrill of anger shot through me before I remembered just how thin the dormitory doors were. Of course she heard us. I see. I walked past her and set my bag on my desk, waiting for what was coming next. Mai seemed to be considering what she should say. My heart sank. If Mai was actually thinking about what she wanted to say, it had to be something serious. Well... She sat on my bed, facing me and the rest of the room. There wasn't anywhere I could go to hide. Damn, she was good. I didn't know the tournament was still on the table. Me neither, actually. But if Satch says I should keep practicing, there must be hope, right? I trust him. I think it'll work out if he thinks it will. That's not what I was going to talk about. I know Satch is reliable. He doesn't say things without thinking them through, so... It's not about whether you can trust him. I put my hand on my hip, suddenly impatient. Then what is it? Mai? Ugh! Well, are you sure you still even want to be in the tournament? Of course I do! Those boys have been treating you horribly. I know you were so happy when you had the chance to join the club and make friends with them. Heck, I was happy for you! When we were both so excited, we truly thought they were or could be our friends. But they weren't. They aren't. Friends don't treat friends like this. That's true. But sometimes friends, hit rough patches. It's all about, how you move past it. Is it worth all the effort of practicing and preparing for the tournament?
Really?
Are you sure you want to do it? And would it be just for fun or for them? I'm not trying to say they're not good people or that you shouldn't if you want to. I just want you to think this through. I don't like seeing people take advantage of my friends, people I care about. Take advantage? Were they taking advantage of me? Oh! Oh, God! See, it's hard because I don't know which way these choices would really go. I mean, personally, I don't blame them for how they reacted. I think they're doing a little extreme, but I understand why they would be hesitant to trust. I get it. They don't have to be, that much of jerks, but I get it. They also were wrong, so that's fine. I don't know, and I enjoy it. I don't think those are good answers. Unless she means I enjoy playing video games and I'm doing it for myself, in which case I think that would be, I don't know. I'm going to say I don't blame them for how they reacted. Let's see if that's what we get to choose. That is the correct answer! Alright. I don't blame them for how they reacted. I really don't. It's not their fault they drew the conclusion they did. I probably would have done the same thing in their shoes. I haven't had a pleasant past with people, or with people who I thought were my friends, so I understand why they were so upset. But wouldn't you want to be even more careful now? If this has happened before, you don't have to tell me what happened, but what if you're making the same mistake? I didn't want to tell Mai about my past, how worse than being friendless. I was betrayed by the few friends I thought I had. Look, we saw that flashback. The normal Boots guys are not going to be that way to you. That's ridiculous. Maybe she had a point. Maybe if I was doing the same thing again, opening myself to the same kind of hurt, maybe I hadn't learned my lesson. But
No.
I can't. I just can't get mad at them. Even if they don't consider me their friend, they're friends to me. Friends make mistakes. Sometimes they hurt you or get mad. That doesn't mean we should just drop them or leave them hanging. And besides, I like playing games and being in the tournament. I want to keep going. If that's what you want, I'm not going to stop you. I don't like it, but...
I'll support you.
Aw, I'll support you, I guess. Thank goodness. A wave of relief washed over me.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Mai. You're the best. And you're a true friend. You'd do the same for me if I needed help. Are we on to chapter 3? Are we on to chapter 3? We're on to chapter 3. There's that awesome casual clothes. He's so cute. I can't. I knew that I was going to enjoy the hell out of Satch's story, and I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I was going to. Dent in the locker. Oh, jeez. You got 10 tournament points. Satch's VR machine is absolutely amazing, but I wonder whether what it said about me was really true? I think it is. The next night I was still working as Mai prepared for bed. Are you not going to sleep? No, I think I need to finish this paper. I want to get it all done tonight. She made a face. For a second my heart stopped. Did she know what I was planning? I still don't get why we need to know the anatomical proportions of Goombas. I love how they're learning the most retarded stuff. Yeah, me neither. Thank goodness.
Good night.
Well, don't stay up too late. I won't. She crawled into her bunk and under the covers. In no time, she was fast asleep. I waited a few minutes to ensure she wouldn't wake up, tapping my pencil idly against my desk, I'm sorry. I hadn't told her what I was going to do. I hadn't told anyone. But going out after curfew wasn't really that big a deal. Okay, that was a bold lie. If I got caught, I would be in serious trouble. But that didn't matter. Satch was spending every day in that library and in the normal Boots Club trying to clear our names. There wasn't much I could do to help him there, but surely no one would mind if I did a bit of snooping on my own. When I was finally sure I was asleep, I slipped out of our room. Oh, here we go. Luckily, I didn't run into anyone on my way out of our dormitory. No one was supposed to be out past 9, so it wasn't a big surprise, but no one was roaming the hallways either. I stepped into the cold night air and took a deep breath. A slight wind blew through the campus, raising goosebumps against my skin. Shivering, I headed towards Poppy Hall. There was no way I'd be let in the club room during the day, but at night... My footsteps echoed across the walkways. There wasn't a single soul around me and hardly any light. You're not going to the fucking club room. Seriously, Hana? That is the worst thing that you could possibly be doing right now because they think that you broke in the first place. What is going on? Since people weren't supposed to be out after dark, the lampposts were lit few and far in between. If I were intact, no one would notice. Shaking my head, I sped up. In no time, I made it to Poppy Hall. Hana, you're about to be a big old idiot. I crept into the hallway. A still silence encompassed the entire building. Suddenly, I was seized with a fear I never experienced during the day. It was so quiet, so still, so empty. Now I understood why people thought abandoned schools were haunted. They were creepy as hell. I crept around the corner, past the science lab, and to the back of the building. The normal Boots Club should be right... here! Crap! No! It was locked. Stupid. Of course it would be locked. There's stuff in there people could steal it. Of course the teacher would lock it. Now what? Must I go back empty-handed? Stupid Hana, I should have prepared for this. Oh God! I can't! I heard a noise in the distance and my heart stopped. Footsteps. How much would it bet it's Shane? Someone was coming. Panicking, I searched around myself for a place to hide, but I was in the middle of the hallway with nothing but lockers and windows. Please. I was trapped. Cringing, I closed my eyes. The footsteps came closer. They stopped in front of me. No one said anything. Hesitantly, I opened my eyes. Oh! It's Mr. Saitomo. Okay. He looked past me to the classroom door. Did you forget something? Yes, I left my math book inside. He nodded and pulled out a giant ring of keys. At the flick of his wrist, he motioned me aside. I shifted and he unlocked the door. Wow! Wow! Hana, that was incredibly smooth. Hurry up, please. Deciding not to ask, I scurried inside. This Saitomo guy seems to know what's going on. I don't know. The club room was much the same as I remembered it. I wanted to take a peek around, but now that Mr. Saitomo was here, I decided it was better not to. Still, there was one place I could look. I went to the back of the room where the large metal closet rested. Please don't be locked. It's unlocked! I pulled the door open and looked in. At the top were stacked a few boxes with miscellaneous items. Was that a skull and crystal ball? Never mind. Below, where the boots once stood, was an empty shelf. I sighed. I was about to leave empty-handed when I remembered I needed a math book. Oh, no. No. No, Hana, because if they see you with the book, they're gonna... Oh, God! Oh, no! Oh, this is the worst idea. Just pretend that it wasn't in there and leave. Just, oh, God, no. No, she has it. They're going to be like, oh, somebody's going to be like, oh, that's my book. And then they're going to realize she got in there somehow and stole something, and it's going to make her look even worse. Oh, God. Turning back to the locker, I pulled a random book out of the closet. Their boxes of junk came in handy. I was about to close the door when I noticed something. There was a dent in the bottom of the closet, just under where the boots once stood. But it's made of metal. Was that there before? I knelt and ran my hand across the dent. Something heavy must have fallen into it to make this one this large. Something heavy and angled. Something hard to carry. The boots! Now that I thought of it, the boots were made of solid gold. Of course they would be heavy. Heavy, unwieldy, and hard to carry. Whoever took them couldn't have taken them far, that was sure. And if they didn't have access to the clubroom in the day, they must have gotten it the way they just did. Or they must have stolen the key themselves. But they wouldn't have done it at night, and then... There was no way they could carry the boots all the way without getting tired or caught, which meant... They were still in Poppy Hall? Miss, are you finished? Yes, sorry, I'm coming. Tucking the book under my arm, I closed the door and headed out of the classroom. You are so stupid, Hana. Why? Mr. Saitomo chaperoned me all the way back to Primrose House in a stiff, insulated silence. I wanted to ask him why he was wandering the halls at night and why he'd let me off, and why he always wore that brown suit. But looking closer at it, the suit was slightly rumpled, and there was a red ascot stuffed in one of the pockets? I looked closer at Mr. Saitomo's face. He looked somewhat flushed. Had he been on a date? Huh. What if he's dating the librarian? You guys, what if he's dating the librarian, you guys? Oh my God, I'm calling it now. If you don't tell, I won't either. He gestured at the book in my hand. I looked down to see a Dungeons & Dragons manual. What? I won't tell if you don't. He placed a finger to his lips, then turned on his heel and headed back to Poppy Hall. Oh, God. Whose book was this? Oh, it's Jared's. I can guarantee you that, honey. As I climbed the staircase back to my room, my curiosity and excitement began to fade. Thankfully, I was able to sneak back in, hide the book, and pop back in before I so much as moved a muscle. Great. Now I really was a thief. I don't... Just why?
Hana.
Waleed is suspicious? Waleed is suspicious! Fucking Waleed! I'm sorry, Hana, are you going to get up or not? Oh, God, you know, all of these people are fantastic people in real life, I'm sure. When I'm screaming about these people, I hope you all realize that I'm talking about the characters. Okay, this is actually a good point to stop, I think, because we've kind of gotten a little bit of an idea of what could possibly be going on, perhaps. Yeah, it should be interesting to see where exactly this is going to wind up going. I really, right now, you guys, my instinct is that the hidden block guys are involved in this. And maybe that's why they're suddenly being so nice to Hana and Mai, because they don't want to seem suspicious. Or maybe it's part of their plan to knock like the normal boots guys off kilter. I don't know. I mean, 4 of the normal boots guys D&D with Jared late at night in Poppy Hall would have been the perfect way to keep people occupied while somebody snuck in and stole the boots. It's so frustrating. But yeah, that's my assumption so far. But our next stream, we will definitely figure out what is going on. In the chat, my wonderful bot will show you all the ways you can follow me on social media. You can follow me here on Twitch or on YouTube to keep track of when I'm streaming next, and also follow me on Twitter at theginachu. Normally, my schedule would have me streaming at 2 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. However, I'm going to be at my dear friend Spike Plays Games house tomorrow. We're having a little bit of a party, so I'm probably going to be streaming at like noonish. And then that probably will be the only stream for tomorrow. I might stream Feather Kitty. Am I going to stream am I going to Austin stream after this? Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll jump on in. But yeah, so so tomorrow probably at noon Eastern Standard Time is probably when I'll be streaming. Maybe 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock might be better. We'll see. I'll definitely tweet it out, so keep an eye on my Twitter at theginachu. And then I'll have my normal streams, of course, at 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then my schedule is going to be a little weird for the next week or so. But I can't tell you why. It's a secret. So thank you guys so much. Katrina, thank you so much for hanging out. Kits, as always, thank you for popping in. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next stream. Thank you so much.